Governments deny it. Militaries deny it. Even the mainstream media denies it. But they are here and they have been here for a very long time. The Mutual UFO Network has been on the front lines uncovering the truth since 1969. And now we're sharing that truth with you. Welcome to MUFON What's Up with your hosts, Katie Page, Shane Hurd, and Tara Diulis. Exclusively on the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. Wondering what's up? So are we.
What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday night, and you are listening to MUFON What's Up Radio right here on KGRADB.com. I hope you go to their website and check out all their great content. The show that says discovery starts with curiosity, and curiosity starts with MUFON. As always, we are always supported by MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, always asking that all-important question: are we alone in the universe? As you know, that big MUFON symposium is coming up this weekend. Should be flying out tomorrow, but unfortunately I won't be able to make it this year. But I hope all of you that are going this year, including our very, very special guest tonight, all the way from Brazil. He is live with us from Brazil, so I can't thank him enough for being here. Thiago, Luiz, Ticchetti. He will be speaking at the symposium this year in Cincinnati, so he has a long flight ahead of him here in a couple days, and we are so excited that he is joining us tonight on MUFON What's Up. I am your host, Katie Page, the Colorado MUFON State Director and Mars Administrator. Also, I'm the author of Letters of Love and Light, 4 Decades of UFO Encounters, Experience, and Sightings, shared with ufologist R. Leo Sprinkle, which is a compilation of all his letters that he received back and forth for over 40 years. So you can find that on my website, katiepage.net. Shameless plug, I know, but every now and again, I got to sneak that in there for you guys. Thiago also has a book about letters, so we'll talk to him about that too when he comes on the show. I would like to bring in my co-host, Shane Hurd. Shane Hurd is also the author of a great book, A Beginner's Guide to Field Research and Researching UFOs. That's Shane's specialty, and it's an excellent, excellent book. So if you're interested in becoming an investigator and researching UFOs, I highly recommend Shane's book. So I hope you can check that out as well. The MUFON Symposium, this weekend. Also, I think there's a couple spots open for that FI training on Thursday. So if you're around the area and you can get there, I highly recommend that training as well. And I know everybody is looking forward to that big event. Also, another event I'd like to bring up is at Phenomicon, September 6th through the 9th in Vernal, Utah. And if you're into the high strangeness phenomena, this is an excellent event to attend there out in Utah. Our other co-host, Tara Diulis, she is on vacation, like on this beautiful yacht. Shane, did you see those pictures she sent? She's like on this beautiful yacht in Lake Tahoe, right?
Lake Powell.
Lake Powell. Yeah. Lake Powell.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. I mean, the one she had with the arch, and I'm like so jealous. Anyway, I hope she's having a great time, but we miss you, Tara. So get back with us next week. As you know, the world of ufology lost a couple of its fondest members, researchers, pioneers, Lee Spiegel. So I just wanted to give a shout out. Rest in peace, Lee Spiegel. You are just greatly, sorely missed by so many in the field. It was just really sad news to hear about Lee. And also we lost David Perkins. And maybe some of you aren't familiar with David Perkins, but David Perkins was pioneer in the cattle mutilations phenomenon, was good friends with Christopher O'Brien, and did so much work with the cattle mutilations back in the 70s, 80s, and forward. And so we just lost 2 great pioneers and researchers this last week. So always sad to hear. They just don't make them like they used to, even with Dr. Sprinkle. You know what I mean? Just that hard-driven, writing letters, reading the books, doing the interviews. So much of it now is, and I'm sure your book talks a lot about that too, right, Shane?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll be sorely missed. And I always just say, like, us newer generation of UFO researchers, investigators stand on the shoulders of those giants. The persistence and the work that they the foundation that they laid is just, I really, it's hard to take, but I wanted to acknowledge that as well.
That's so true. It's so true. I really admire so many of those pioneers. So since Tara's not here, I tried to fill her shoes just a little bit. I found one little comic I thought was kind of cute. It's a spirograph. So here comes the UFO, and he's like, hand me the red pen. Do you remember these, Shane? I thought those were so fun.
Yeah, that was a 60s thing for sure, 70s. Yeah.
60s, 70s. I mean, I don't know. I still think you can find them today, like in the vintage toy section. You can still get these things. Yeah, they're so much fun. And who knows, maybe that's how crop circles are done. And we can ask Thiago if they get many crop circles there in Brazil. I don't know. I know they're very popular in the UK, but I'm not so sure about Brazil. So that's something I'm anxious to ask him all about. And do you, Shane, have you heard this week?
I sure do, Katie. Have you heard that science is taking UAP more seriously? And this is kind of a continuation of my discussion last week where when we get these UFO reports, we have to consider the source, right? And the credibility factor. And what I've been noticing, I follow a lot of the science magazines and some of the news related to that. And I've noticed more and more that the world of science is taking UAP more seriously, or at least the notion and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. And there were a couple examples I wanted to share from this week I thought were really interesting.
Okay.
So one I'm taking from an article from USA Today, and the author was Eric Lagata. And the title of it is Researchers Discover Mysterious Interstellar Radio Signal Reaching Earth. And then in quotes and an exclamation point, it says extraordinary. So that caught my attention. Why is this extraordinary? So I'm going to just read a couple excerpts from this. Mysterious radio wave pulses from deep in space have been hitting Earth for decades. We know about that, right? We've heard of the FRBs, a fast radio burst, that kind of thing. But the scientists who recently discovered have no concrete explanation for the origin of the signals. So that gets our attention, right? It's a mystery. So for 35 years, a strange blast of energy and varying levels of brightness have occurred like clockwork, approximately every 20 minutes, sometimes lasting for 5-minute intervals. That's what Curtin University astronomers from the International Center for Radio Astronomy Research concluded. And that appeared in the Nature journal, which is, a primary release regarding the media and new discoveries of science. So that's a pretty prestigious journal.
Wow,
it says that the discovery of the signal, which researchers named, get this, it's really catchy, GPMJ1839-10. And it has the scientists baffled. And it says, believed to be coming from around 15,000 light years away from Earth. And it's been occurring at intervals that, are a little bit different than what they've observed in the past. And the lead author of this paper, Dr. Natasha Hurley Walker, said in a statement that this remarkable object challenges our understanding of neutron stars and magnetars, which are some of the most exotic and extreme objects in the universe. So how is this related to possibility of UAP? Because within the article, the next subheading is it a sign of extraterrestrial life? And that says, not so fast. But the very fact that they mention it, I think, is important. But it goes on to say, before you go assuming that ET is trying to phone home to our planet, researchers do have other theories that may be causing it. And so it goes into kind of an explanation about, the activity of these neutron stars and magnetars. And it also harkens back to me for SETI, for example.
Right.
Most of us, we know about SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. And it's a group of astronomers that originally funded in the 60s. I think it was started by Frank Drake. Today, we're familiar with names such as Seth Shostak and Jill Tarter. They're still leading that effort, and their whole principle is to look for signals that come from outer space and see if they might indicate, a non-human intelligence. So right off the bat, science, is interested in discovery of other life, and that's just one example. Of course, we know that over the years, they've not produced a lot of results. I know in this 1975, a signal was received, and the astronomer wrote in the margin of the dot matrix printed report that he got wow in the
the wow
border,
signal,
and now it's called the wow signal. And then, of course, now we're looking at these, these fast radio bursts, and it's still kind of a mystery. And so, so the logic and the principle behind it is still solid. It's scientific. That this is just one methodology for determining if extraterrestrial life may exist, right? So I think for us in the UFO field, we should be embracing these efforts, and I know it's slow in coming, and it's a little bit frustrating, and they just dip their toe in the water and they pull it back real quick. They don't want to commit, but we're seeing stories from NASA, JPL, other scientists, other scientific organizations and universities participating in these sorts of efforts, and they're at least considering a possibility that it could be extraterrestrial life. And 20, 30 years ago, they weren't doing that.
They were just laughing. Yeah, they're like, what are these people? Are they nuts? That I think they didn't even think that there was life out there in the universe, which is just outrageous to us now, knowing how vast it is. I'm curious. I mean, how long? I know, like in the movie Contact, right, with Jodie Foster, like the first signal that they received was like Hitler's speech, which is terrifying, right?
Yeah.
Like how long does it take for our transmissions to get to who knows where, and what are they hearing, and how are they interpreting what they're hearing? I love the idea of like sending music like they did, children's voices from around the world, in different languages. To me, I mean, it almost gives me goosebumps, because that's the kind of message I would love to receive from somewhere else in our galaxy.
Yeah, right.
Would that be cool to hear music?
Yeah, we're so we're so duplicitous in humans, right? We can be so beautiful and wonderful, and then we can be so bad, And it is my hope as well that they see the good side of us. But it's interesting you bring that up, because another story was talking about in 1994 we sent this signal out to space, and it was directed at a particular star, and tomorrow is the day that they expect that signal to reach that star. And so this is a group led by astronomers in Japan. And so they are, the gist of the article is that they wanted to see if they get a response, right? If it got received, if they get a response from it. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. So again, it just shows everybody is interested in it, right? Human beings want to know, are we alone or not? And notwithstanding our experiencers and abductees and contactees and many of us that recognize that there's an intelligence interacting with mankind right now here on Earth, scientists aren't ready to go there without the proof, but at least they're sniffing around it, and they're applying scientific principle that will help ultimately prove it. And we just have to be patient.
Right. And hope we get those music. I'm just so curious now. I'm going to think about that. You have to think there's music and dance almost in every culture, right? So it'd be really cool if that's what comes through somehow, some way. So anyway, that is a great Have You Heard, Shane. I really enjoyed that. And I'm really glad that science is starting to at least consider the possibility of extraterrestrial life in our galaxy. So we are going to move along. Tara usually does a Mars sneak peek, but she'll be back next week. And there's going to be big announcements at the symposium on that. So I'm excited for her to come back and share that. But I do have a case of the week that I'd like to share. And it's case number 132518, came as a category 1, but we'll see if you think, we'll see what you think about it, Shane. This occurred on July 13th, 2023 at 9:13 p.m. And I might mess this up too. So for those of you who live in Kentucky, sorry, Adolphus, Kentucky. So the report goes like this: 9 seconds in the video, an object comes out of the cloud. It seems to be fired out of something. There was a similar sighting in that same town during the day in January 10th of 2022. So the only evidence the FI had was this 12-second video that clearly shows an object shooting out of a large cloud at a very fast speed. And the case was closed as an unknown UAV. But before we share, so I have the original video, the 12-second video, and then I have slowed it down twice. The last video, I lightened it up a little bit. So we're going to run that first one, but you're going to see a streak, which is probably an insect. But the more I slowed it down, it's like a flash, a streak, and then what you're going to be looking at in the center of your screen, and it's really fast the first time. That's why I slowed it down twice for you. So there's a lightning storm and you can see these flashes. But what was really cool, Shane, is if you really slow it down, you can almost see it moving within the cloud. It makes a 90-degree turn and then just shoots up out of it.
Wow.
So
Okay.
let's roll that original 12-second video that the witness sent in. So you're looking at that lightning cloud here and you're going to see a streak go through. It was almost too fast to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like really fast. So let's do that slow down video number 1, please. See it that time? Did you see it that time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Chanel, let's run number 3 again. Maybe we can do that a couple times, the third one.
Yeah. Hmm.
What do you think of that, Shane?
Yeah. Well, the little dog leg it takes is pretty interesting, right? Storm activity too. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'm glad they closed it as an unknown then, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And breaking down a video like that's not easy, especially in the dark. But that lightning really helped. And I have to say, here in Arizona, we have these big dust storms. They call them haboobs. And I'm not kidding you. Just about every time the TV likes to show them, right? The news channels, because they're very impressive to look at. Almost every time you see these objects within the dust cloud. And, I'm sure you could say, well, maybe it blew something up from the ground, but no, this is very different. And so I don't know what it is about clouds and storms, but
Right.
UAP seem to like it.
And the thing too, I mean, it perhaps is a bug, that first flash you see, but when you're looking at that big, huge lightning cloud, that is not an insect in there. It would be way too large, and it can't be a bird. It almost, you can see it kind of in the cloud, and then it kind of does this motion, like almost like, so I thought, could it be a bird? Are the wings being, but it would be way too large to be a bird. Sure. I mean, that is a big cloud because you have the trees for a contrast. Yeah. So that would be too large of an object to be a bug or a bird. And the way it shoots up into the atmosphere like that, I don't know. I think the investigator did a fantastic job on this one and closing it as an unknown UAV for sure. So that is the case of the week this week. And remember, you guys, if you guys see anomalous activity out there, make sure you send in those reports to MUFON so it can be investigated properly. Our investigators, they go through a lot of training. Like we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of great classes being offered at the symposium this year. And the manual, how thick is the manual, Shane?
Yeah, it's like inch and a half.
Thick.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, so, a lot of information.
And that's true. So I know typically we go to the to the 30 mark, but since we don't have Tara and extra cases this week, and we're going to get back to Bob next week, he's gearing up for that big symposium as well. So he was hard to pin down, but he'll be back next week as well. But let's bring in our guest. He's going to talk about some really cool cases, and I'm really excited about one in particular because I think it has some similarities there to that case of the week. So let me read his bio here really quick, and then we'll bring him in. And I apologize ahead of time if I mispronounce anything here. So bear with me, folks. Okay. Thiago Luiz Ticchetti has been a researcher of the UFO phenomenon for almost 30 years. He was vice president of the UFO research group, Anate Brasileira de Estudos Extraterrestrials in Brazil for almost 10 years. He is also co-editor and columnist for Revista UFO, columnist for the British magazine UFO Truth, president of the Brazilian Commission of Ufologists, national director of MUFON in Brazil, field researcher certified by MUFON, and member of the STAR team for MUFON. He is the author of 14 books, and his UFO book, UFO Contacts in Brazil, can be found on Amazon. He is also the author of dozens of texts for Revista UFO Magazine and other ufological publications. He has participated in several programs on the History Channel, Net Geo, and Discovery, as well as radio shows, podcasts, and interviews. Thiago Luiz holds a degree in business administration, an executive MBA, and is currently studying an MBA in international cooperation and public policy. So please welcome to the show, Thiago Luiz Ticchetti. Welcome. Let's get you unmuted here. I think we're muted. It is a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time so late at night there from Brazil.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you, Katie and Shane, and for everybody that are watching us.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And like so many, I'm always so curious to what got you interested in the topic of UFOs so long ago. Did you have a personal encounter of your own?
Well, I always said it. I was born with UFO in my blood. Since I was a kid, when I start to read like superheroes, comic books like Spider-Man, Captain America, and UFO magazines in Brazil. And when I was 8 years old, I saw a UFO. It's a close encounter of zero kind, because it was just a ball of light, but it came from the sky and stopped it in a mountain, and then rise it again and make a pendulum movement and just shoot to the stars. And when I moved to Brasilia in 1994 to 1995, I started research. So it's almost 30 years researching UFOs.
That's incredible. I mean, Brazil is, it's a mecca for UFO activity. When you were an eight-year-old boy and you had that encounter, were you with your parents? Were you alone? Was this at night?
It was a night. It was before 8 o'clock, because I had to go to my house 8 o'clock. So it was before, but it was night. I was with my friends and my brother and my father. My father was a Brazilian Air Force pilot. Oh. So even I was 8 years old, I knew it was a balloon or a plane or a helicopter. And then we are talking about 1982. Now you know how old I am. And there's no drones or satellites in the skies. So much satellites in the skies in 1982. And what there was nothing I never seen before, and I never saw yet in my life. So it was a quite different thing that I saw that night.
It's amazing.
Were you the only one that saw it, or were you with people when you saw it?
No, I was with my brother and friend, but my brother, he doesn't remember that. Oh. And I don't know why. And he's always joking me, wow, you saw nothing. You saw nothing.
Is this a big brother or a little brother?
It's a little brother.
A little brother giving you crap.
Yeah,
Oh no.
a chance to take the big brother, huh?
Yeah, I
Right.
am the big brother.
Yeah, you're the big brother. So your dad being in the Air Force, do you ever talk to your dad about this phenomena? And has he ever encountered anything? Does he fly jets, or what does he do for the Air Force?
Yes, he was a jet fight pilot from the Brazilian Air Force, and he loved the subject as well. But we never had the opportunity to discuss it because he passed away when I was 18 years old. So we had no opportunity to discuss. But he gave me the first book that I read. It was Chariots of Fire from Eric von Däniken. Chariots of Gods.
Yeah.
Of Gods.
That's
from
right.
Eric von Däniken. Yes, and he was my first book that I read, and it was amazing and opened my mind,
Right.
And this book was belonged to him, and he gave me. And when I met Eric von Däniken for the first time, I met him several times, but when I met for the first time, he gave me an autograph below the names of my father's name that was in the book. It was a second edition of the book in Brazil. It was 1971 book. And Eric von Däniken just signed below my father's signature.
Wow.
That is really cool, and it makes me think. I mean, that first of all, that is a book that got us, so many of us, interested and hooked. Ancient alien theories suggest, So, but it makes me wonder that perhaps your father had an interest. Something might have stirred that for him to purchase that book to begin with. So that's kind of compelling, That's really interesting.
And he never saw something. He never saw.
Oh, he never saw anything.
No, but a friend of him, a few years ago, he got in contact with me, and he said, "Well, your father saw something. We are just a brand new pilots. We are in a base, and more than 200 pilots saw a UFO over the base. But my father never told me that, and I don't know why. Perhaps we don't have time to discuss that. But my father-in-law, who passed away also, he saw a UFO when he was flying a plane called Chavante, ATX-26 Chavante is a fighter, jet fighter as well. And he saw it, and he gave me his testimony to my YouTube channel. And he never talked, well, it's a extraterrestrial ship. No, he never told me that. He just said it was something that I never saw. So it's a UFO.
Yeah, that is fascinating. I mean, that's a lot of UFO activity in your very own family. How about in Brazil in general? I don't want to put you on the spot for a certain number, but what kind of volume of reports occur in your country, and are they kind of concentrated around population centers, or do you get a smattering of reports around both rural areas as well?
Well, it's very hard to tell how many cases we have in Brazil. I got 5 to 6 emails every week with people send me photos or videos or testimony. In Brazil, the most cases happen in the inner country, But we have also sites in capitals or big cities in Brazil. But the most part happen in the inner country, and we don't get that information because we don't have the net to connect.
Right.
And people live in a very remote places, and we don't know. And they never, for that people that live in a country, it's so normal. It's a routine for them to see something like that.
Really? Wow.
They are very used to see that. So, okay, we saw a light in the sky, a fireball in the sky. Okay, it's okay. For them, it's
Normal.
fine. It's okay. It's normal.
Right.
Wow.
And that happens here in the States as well. I mean, and it skews the data. I mean, Cheryl Costa can tell you, we have,
Cheryl, yeah, I know
you
Cheryl.
look at these cities in these populated states have the highest, Arizona gets a lot of reports, Phoenix, California, Denver, but in a lot of these rural areas, even here in the United States, they don't typically report it, I think, because it is more common. You see these anomalies in the sky, and they don't necessarily have the means or access to do it for whatever reason. Small town mentalities kind of keep more to themselves, right? Do you find that too, Shane?
Yeah. I think that is very true. Independent people living in rural parts of the country, and they just take that stuff in stride. So I'll bet the ratio of sightings versus reports has probably got to be 100-1, maybe more. I don't know, but there's a lot of reasons for it. But I was just curious with Brazil, and also how does the Brazilian government treat the issue?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Brazil was the first country to accept UFOs back in 1950. We start to study the phenomenon back in the 50, and the 60, and the 70. We had the plate operation in north of Brazil, where a crew of militaries went to the city of Colares because people were being attacked by UFOs. The UFOs were shooting rays, beam of lights in people, and they got sick. They got anemia. And the mayor of the cities and the authorities of the cities were very concerned and worried because the city was getting like ghost cities. The people were leaving the cities afraid of the UFOs. They call it chupa chupa, suck, because the UFOs suck the blood from the people.
Right.
Yeah, that's a famous case for that.
Yeah, it's a famous case. And the Brazilian government, well, we don't take a lot of attention that the subject deserves. We have a lot of problems here. We have a social problem. We have economic problem. We have a political problems. So a UFO is a problem that we don't want to care about.
Yeah, not a high priority.
If a UFO lands in the middle of the Brazil, the capital of Brazil, okay, well, UFO, okay, but let's talk about economic. Let's talk about political, and then we see if UFO are hostile or not. So the Brazilian paying attention, okay, but it's not, it's not our agenda. It's not very important to us.
Yeah.
Is it true, Thiago, that Brazil does have kind of more of a history of these attacks or fearful encounters more so than, these, gentle beings coming? I mean, has that been a pattern in Brazil? Do you have more cases of that?
I'm gonna show in a MUFON symposium some cases that's very terrifying. But in Brazil, we have all kinds of contacts. We have a good contacts. We have a bad contacts.
Right, because the theme of the symposium is friend or foe, and maybe you can talk to us a little bit about what you'll be presenting about, what your opinions are on friend or foe, without giving away the farm. People are going to the symposium to hear that, but give us just a little teaser on that.
Yeah, the Brazil has some cases that the aliens were very aggressive. We do have cases that people died after contact with a UFO or extraterrestrial being, and we do also have cases that the aliens just asked for a bottle of water or fight with a Brazilian, and then when they finish the fight, just a little tap on the shoulder, good fight, like good fight in the left. So in South in Latin America and South America, we have many cases that the aliens were aggressive, and we don't have it in Europe like that, in Asia. We don't know why, if it's a pattern, we don't know. But Brazil and South America have the most cases that aliens were aggressive occurred in South America.
Yeah, that's interesting. A case was reported over the last couple weeks in Peru that sounded very much like me to the Colares incident. If true, it had a lot of the same elements where people were being attacked and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I think that's very true. It seems typical both here in the U.S. and Brazil and other countries that there's a combination of positive and negative experiences that people have, and it's so hard to figure it out, right? Because we're the friend or foe question is so powerful because the evidence is not clear. We can't really tell yet. So I think that just adds more proof to it.
And that's maybe we don't know the truth yet, because we don't know if they are friend or foe, because they have cases in both sides. And if a government say, okay, we have been visited by aliens, and are flying south of the land, and they even shot a beam of light and kill a person. We don't know. Right. So perhaps that's the most concern of the government about the phenomenon.
Yeah, and the flight safety of aircraft in our skies, our military men and women, and our civilian aircraft, and that. And I think after the first break here, we're going to get into 4 cases, and one of them kind of speaks to that, which I'm excited for you to share. But before we get to that, and I would just like to make one other comment about the friend or foe. We can't put, it's like, well, it just depends on who lands on Earth, whether they're friend or foe. But really, we can't even put them into one basket. I mean, we're not that way, and I can't expect that other civilizations out there will be that way as well. So I guess it's just the agenda and how they view humans and Earth and everything else. So, we will wait and see, and the jury's out. And I think as far as the symposium goes, I'm so bummed I'm going to be missing it, because I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear this very important conversation that's going to be had through that whole weekend. But I'm curious, speaking of MUFON, how many investigators are in Brazil, and how is it set up? How is MUFON set up there in your country?
Well, we are rebuilding the MUFON here in Brazil. We used to have around 100 of UFO researchers here.
Wow.
By MUFON, but the people got old or left MUFON. Yeah. And for many years, we just didn't do nothing in a MUFON here. I just became a national director 3 years ago. And for 2 years, almost 2 years, we had the COVID crisis.
All right.
And yes, and now we are starting to rebuild it. I'm starting to make meetings online and physical presential meetings here in Brazil to bring and to show what is the MUFON to Brazil.
Yeah.
The great problem here in Brazil is the language. Many people here in Brazil speak in English, but many as well don't speak in English. Mm-hmm. And we have to try to anyway to understand that technology now, you can go in the MUFON website and translate automatically to Portuguese.
Right.
Yeah.
And but people still have a little concern about that, because if I'm gonna be a member of MUFON, I'm gonna get the MUFON e-journal, but it's in English.
Yeah.
But with technology, we can translate it as well.
Right.
And so we're trying to build it to bring more people to the MUFON, because I cannot do all by myself. I'm researching now 4 cases in Brazil, and 1 case in São Paulo, 2 in Minas Gerais, and 1 in Rio de Janeiro. So I cannot travel there. I need
Right.
people in that states.
Yeah, it's still a very big country, land-wise, and then, like you said, multiple languages, and
Right.
and then vast cultural differences. You have the rural and the big city, and all those are challenges that people don't really think about when you talk in terms of UFO reporting and investigating,
So true.
and every country kind of has its own unique circumstances, because of all those environmental and social and other pressures. So, yeah, I'm sure it's very much of a challenge. But the good news is some of the really important cases do make it out, such as Colares and the others, and so that's great that at least happens. But do you think, Thiago, that if the United States government comes out and discloses in a more formal way about the reality of UFOs or UAP or another non-human intelligence engaging us, that your country in particular, say Brazil, do you think that how they will respond to that? You think it will spark a higher degree of interest, and maybe not just the population, but even the government?
Yes, I'm very positive about that.
Cool.
For the first time, the audience that happened in the United States got the news here in Brazil, very serious news here in Brazil. And I was contacted by almost all the TV channels and newspapers to talk about it. And people here in Brazil got very curious about it. And the Brazilian Commission of Ufologists, which I am president, we are trying to push legally the Brazilian army and the Brazilian government to disclosure all the documents that they have. And we know they have documents that are very secret. And now our next step is to do an audience here in Brazil. We had it in 2022 to celebrate the UFO World Day in June 24th.
Right.
We got an invitation from the Senate of Brazil, and we were there, and we make a speech, a presentation for almost 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
And we had some guests from UK, Gary Hasseltine, and we had the Captain Robert Salas here as well.
Oh, cool.
And it was very positive. But we had elections for the presidential election in Brazil, so that just got frozen a little.
Right.
And now we start again. We got to get the contact with the politicals here in Brazil, the senators and deputies, federal deputies. We call federal deputies here in Brazil. We're trying to get an audience to invite people here in Brazil, militaries, and people who work it in some way or somehow to cover up the phenomenon here in Brazil.
Right.
It's very hard to get it. As I said, we have a major problem here in Brazil, but we have to try it. And I think we have senators and we have another politicals that they like the subject and they think just like us.
Right.
So the right to know what's going on.
Right. So the cover up is worldwide. Do you think that the Brazilian government is paying attention to our congressional hearings? And what is your opinions on what's happening in the United States with the congressional hearings?
Yes, they are aware of what happened in the U.S. Congress, because I have friends from Brazilian Air Force that they are looking for it. They're paying attention. And what happened in the United States was amazing, historic.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't think they're gonna disclose everything. Really, I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna you can have all. No, we will never have all.
Yeah.
I think from a point to forward, they're going to start the disclosure or not closure. But from the cases in the past, like Roswell, like Kenneth Arnold, like the Blue Book cases that were never were solved, they will not go do a step back. Because if they do, they are, they will be telling to the whole world that they were lying
Right.
for 7 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not good for them, for the government, for the military. They're not good for them. So I think the disclosure is on a way. There's no way to stop now. They cannot stop or keep in silence, because now senators in the United States, they want to know. They in my opinion, they don't want to know if the UFO are extraterrestrial. UFOs are extraterrestrial. No, they want to know if there's a problem with national security.
Yeah.
And okay, there's a problem. So if there's a problem, what is it?
Yeah.
Is a ship? Is a secret weapon from China, from Russia, from Japan, from France? We don't know.
Right.
Yep. They have to frame it correctly so that it will be politically acceptable to discuss and disclose. And I think they might even have to offer immunity to some people. Many of the people, of course, that were alive at that time and involved with Blue Book and, the Air Force and the cover up, probably are no longer with us. But, there's a newer generation of people that the cover up continued. So, I think it is a very delicate matter, and I think you're right. Disclosure will occur in bits and pieces, and it'll start and it'll stop, and things will have to be worked out behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. But I was going to ask you too. Here in the U.S. and MUFON in particular, that we have obviously our UFO investigation side, but we also have our experience or resource team, where MUFON has seen the need to, in essence, provide comfort to people who are having these experiences that might range from, positive, or they might be highly negative and extremely traumatic, and people need help. Is that experience or contact or abduction experience prevalent in Brazil as well? And is there any kind of resources available to them, like therapy groups or any kind of thing like that, or is it just a very largely untapped subject or part of the UFO issue for Brazil?
No, we don't have this kind of support. We don't have it. We do have a lot of cases of abduction here in Brazil. That's for sure. We have some UFO researchers that help these people and study the cases, but we don't have, unfortunately, we don't have this kind of support here. It is very important, because I receive a lot of cases.
You do.
Like that, about allegedly abduction cases. But I'm not the expert on that.
Yeah,
I'm not the expert. So I have to send them to colleagues that research that. One of the colleagues is Dr. Gilda Moura. She lives in Portugal right now. And the people are here in Brazil. So she tried the best way to help that people.
Yeah.
But it's very hard, because I think this kind of support must be in person.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I was just
true.
curious about that, and that's I'm glad to hear at least there's some recognition, acknowledgement, and some effort. But hopefully, as this gets more and more disclosed and accepted, that there'll be inroads to providing that kind of support for people, because I think that's just super important. It's great to investigate and determine if a UFO sighting was actual or mistaken identity. All that's great, useful, and important. But I think helping people who have been, traumatized is really the most important thing, right? Without people, nothing matters, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
it's good to hear.
Right. So we have about 7 minutes before we take our first break. And I would like to ask you, do you have a favorite historical UFO case, either here in the United States or worldwide? And if so, what is it?
I love Roswell. I cannot deny. I love Roswell since I was a boy. I met Don Schmidt. I met Kevin and Randall, and I have all the books about Roswell that they wrote. And my dream is go to Roswell just to see the crash site and go to Roswell Museum and go to Area 51 and go to the Roswell Air Force bases. So Roswell is my favorite, but here in Brazil, I love the plate operation and night of the UFOs that occurred in 1986 here in Brazil. And Virginia, of course.
Yeah.
And are these some of the cases we'll be talking about after break?
Yeah.
Aha, all right. That's awesome. So, I don't want to go right because these cases take some time. So let's talk a little bit about your books, shall we? Yeah. If you can tell us a little bit, 14 books, that's a lot. So if you want to just kind of tell us a little bit about your publications, what they are, what they focus on, and where we can get them.
Yeah, my book, I wrote 14 books, 12 in Portuguese, one in English, and one translated to the French. My books are about UFO crashes. I wrote 2 about UFO crashes in the world. I wrote 3 about a guide of a UFO typology, one of about UFO typology, and 3 about extraterrestrial guide to extraterrestrial typology. I wrote 3 about UFO cases, general UFO cases in a world, and 2 about the universo insólito, like unusual universe. This one is some of my articles that was published in magazines around the world, and I have the newest one was the letters. Cartas para Claudeir Covo, letters to Claudeir Covo. Claudeir Covo was one of the best UFO researchers here in Brazil. He passed away in 2011, if I'm not wrong. And he studied UFOs in a best way of the UFO research. He was very rational, was a very serious person. And he researched some of the best cases in Brazil. So that book was wrote with her daughter, Cynthia. We wrote together, and Humberto, his husband, her husband. And but when I wrote about the UFO type, I made a classification. And I wrote about the UFO guide to extraterrestrial. I find out that we had at least 72 types of aliens that was reported here in the planet.
Did you say 72?
Yes, 72.
Wow.
72 types of UFO of aliens that was here in our planet and was reported in the UFO literature.
What are the most common?
The most common depends the time, the decade.
Oh, right.
The first, of course, there was the Blondies, the Nordics, and then we passed to the Greys, and then we go to reptilians, and then we go to insectoids. So depends. And now we are living in a moment that we have several types acting at the same time. We have the Greys acting with the reptilians, with the insects, all in the same scene, in the same scenario.
Why do you think that might be?
I don't know. I'm a friend of Dr. David Jacobs.
Right.
And we worked together in 2017. He came to Brazil to make a symposium here. I was with him. We are speakers at symposium in Brazil, in Belo Horizonte. And we talk a lot. And Dr. Jacobs, he told me, Thiago, well, in my abductees researchers, I had only the grays. And I said, Doctor, you know that, okay, but you know that we have a lot of types of aliens here in our planet. Okay, but the evidence that I have is just the grays. And a couple of years ago, I emailed him and how are you, doctor? We have to talk. And he wrote back, Thiago, do you remember when I said that I just had grays in my research? Now I have grays, I have insects, I have reptilians. So
right.
Interesting.
What's happened?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're banding together. They're starting to work together and they're creating alliances. Maybe we should be a little nervous about that. And they're like, we don't want to let these humans in yet. Like they need to get their acts together before, you know, we've heard this through the years, through the decades, actually, that there's a galactic federation. I see them all sitting around a table. They bring up their maps or whatever, and they're going, not yet, not yet. We got to give them a chance, you know, kind of thing. So we are going to go over 4 cases after break. We just have a few seconds here. I wanted to bring up the image of the one book that you can get on Amazon that is in English. And the title of that book is
UFO Contacts in Brazil.
UFO Contacts in Brazil. Nope, not that one. That one's
French,
the one in France. That's in French. Yeah, that's the one in French. And then we have one more here.
That's it.
There it
is. You
is.
could bring up the cover.
More than
There
500 pages and for more than 300 photos and images and drawings.
Nice.
Really? Oh my gosh, I'm buying that for sure.
A very large brick.
And dang it, I wish I would have bought it ahead of time so I could have shipped it to Cincinnati and have you sign it. Darn, missed opportunity. All right, so when we come back from the break, we will go over some 4 very intriguing cases. So hang in there with us and we'll see you on the other side.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
MUFON is the voice of thousands of like-minded people who want to see change. We speak up against UFO secrecy. We engage governments and agencies around the world on the topic. We share information with the public through our journal, website, newsletter, social media, and even our own TV channel. When you join MUFON, you add your voice to the cause. Few things are more important in our time than understanding the UFO question. Join MUFON. Find your friends.
Did you know 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated? If you struggle with focus, run low on energy, or when it's time to finally sleep, you simply can't, this can all be linked to dehydration, and Fuel Up has the answer. Our proprietary formula contains the finest cellular hydration with the strongest immune-enhancing natural ingredients. The Fuel Up system is made up of 3 different incredibly tasting varieties. Wake kickstarts your day with a jolt of caffeine. Play boosts focus while hydrating your cells. Rest not only helps you relax, but also rejuvenates your cells while you sleep. Here's what our clients have to say.
I really don't miss my coffee, and you can tell the difference.
So I'm going to take it for the energy,
I'm taking for the play. I'm gonna take it, all day.
And it works. That's the thing. It works. We love it.
Take the Fuel Up Challenge now, where we offer a Feel the Difference money-back guarantee. Fuel Up for life.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected. Only at kgradb.com.
I would be amiss if I didn't give a shout out to our producer, Bill Skywatcher. He had a very rough week last week because of, it's medical, and I don't want to just spew all that out on there without his permission. But just know that he had a rough week. He is on the mend and doing better, and we just love him to death, and our wishes were with him through all his trials and tribulations. So we're glad he's on the mend and he's doing better. So our love to Bill.
Yep.
Just had to get that out there. Go Bill.
Let's go, Bill. That's why you never answer my email.
Yeah. Well, there you go. For anybody who's emailed Bill, now you know why.
Get better soon.
Get better soon, Bill. We all love you very much. So get better soon. And yeah, we'll cut you some slack for not answering those emails. So we're going to spend this hour going over some magnificent cases there in Brazil. Which one would you like to go ahead and start with?
Oh, you pick one. You pick one. I said you can choose it.
Oh, I get to choose it? Well, hold on. Let me see. I'm intrigued with the one that's kind of similar to, is it the Tucano case? Tucano case?
Tucano
Case.
is a Brazilian bird.
Oh, okay.
Bird.
Yeah.
It's the name of the airplane that was built in Brazil. The Embraer is a Brazilian factory of airplanes.
Oh, cool. So just like the Falcon.
And this case happened in 1996. They were performing an acrobatic show as a Esquadrilha da Fumaça. The name of the Esquadrilha da Fumaça is like the bluebird that you have in the United States.
Okay, right.
And they were performing over the beach in Santos, São Paulo. And suddenly, one of their plane, the Tucano, lost their wing, one of the wing. And the pilot got to eject, and he survived. But a part of the wing killed one person that was on the beach. And then, well, of course, they have to analyze the case, investigate the crash. And we saw the film. The ufologists saw the film, and we saw a little object, a little thing in a metal, like metal, like silver that reflect the sun, just cross very near 2 meters of the wing of the plane, and then the airplane lost the wing. So that was investigated in 1996. That shows that no one knows what happened. Therefore, said that was the problem of the material of the wing. But what was that sphere? It was a sphere,
Right.
a probe, extraterrestrial probe, we call it, a UFO, a small UFO, like a 1 meter diameter, that passed too close of the airplane. Okay, if the wing, if the airplane lost the wing because of malfunction of the airplane, okay, but what was that?
Right.
We don't know.
Right. And we have a video clip of that, don't
Yes.
we? Okay. So, Chanel, if you want to run that first, I think there's just one video on that one.
Começa a última manobra. De repente, a asa direita se desprende e cai. O piloto consegue desviar o avião na direção do mar e aciona a cadeira ejetável, apenas 3 segundos antes do avião se espatifar. 5 segundos antes do acidente, um objeto voador não identificado passa pelo tucano em altíssima velocidade. Será que esse estranho objeto tem algo a ver com o acidente?
Ele é um tamanho pequeno, né? Em relação ao todo da aeronave, que a gente pode observar, o comprimento da aeronave são 10 metros o comprimento. O objeto, ele, se comparado ao tamanho da aeronave, é bastante.
It's in Portuguese.
Wow.
They said that the object was very fast. That was smaller. The airplane was 10 times the size of the object, and this object just crossed the airplane 5 seconds before he lost his wing. Mm-hmm. And it's fear. It was very fast, perhaps 1,500 kilometers an hour. So I don't think that the sphere just cut the wing, but what happened there? We don't know. Almost 30 years after the event, the crash, we still don't know what happened.
Yeah, that is, I mean, that's pretty significant. How many times have we seen, these spheres trailing an airplane? But that was so close.
Remember the Foo Fighters?
Yeah,
in the Second War.
Just like Foo Fighters. Did in the investigation, obviously a death occurred, and they would investigate anyway because an aircraft had a crash. But did the official investigators acknowledge that sphere and make any comment on it as part of the formal investigation, or was it only the ufologists that picked up on it?
It has a official conclusion that the airplane just lost the wing because a structural problem, but they never talked about the sphere. For them, just like the sphere never happened. It was not there, but you can see it.
Yeah, it reminds me so much. So here in the States, we have a ginormous air show in Oshkosh, Wisconsin every year. And unfortunately, in Oshkosh, we lose several aircraft. I want to say there were 3 crashes this year. And even our space launches with SpaceX, you go back and examine some of this video footage, and we have very similar phenomenon that, I mean, true, some of it potentially could be birds or something that fly around. But again, just like the case of the week with the light, something coming out of the lightning, and clearly in your video there, that is not a bird. That clearly looks metallic. That's pretty large. I mean, we have the aircraft to compare the size to. So it really makes me wonder. I mean, it's more than a coincidence that this plane loses the wing right at that moment. What potentially, do you have any theories on what potentially is cause and effect there that would cause something like that?
No, we don't have it.
You
Any
don't
kind
have
of hypothesis. We saw a sphere near the airplane, and then the airplane lost its wing.
Wow.
So I'm sure that the sphere didn't cause that, because it was very close, but never touched the airplane, and it was not a drone, because we're talking about 1996.
Yeah.
It was not a bird. It's not a bird. It's a very spherical. It's not a bird.
Doesn't it kind of remind you of what Ryan Graves, the fighter pilot, the F-118 fighter pilot, has been commenting on from the Roosevelt case in 2015, where a sphere that or a cube inside of a sphere looking object was, split right between two of their airplanes, less than 100 feet.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, on we've seen many videos of these objects trailing airplanes, even, very modern ones. But of course, even the Foo Fighters of World War II. It just is such an interesting thing. I like the word that you use to describe it is like a probe. It acts like it's observing or collecting data. It's not necessarily interfering, but it's just so coincidental that it was in that proximity and then that event occurred. It's a brain teaser for sure.
I almost want to, can we run that video again, Chanel? I would love to see that one more time, the video of that.
Começa a última manobra. De repente, a asa direita se desprende e cai. O piloto consegue desviar o avião na direção do mar e aciona a cadeira ejetável, apenas 3 segundos antes do avião se espatifar. 5 segundos antes do acidente, um objeto voador não identificado passa pelo Tucano em altíssima velocidade. Será que esse estranho objeto tem algo a ver com o acidente?
Ele é um tamanho pequeno, né? Em relação ao todo da aeronave, que a gente pode observar, o comprimento da aeronave são 10 metros o comprimento. O objeto, ele, se comparado ao tamanho da aeronave, é bastante.
That last voice in the video is from a colonel from the Brazilian Air Force.
Is he still alive? And what does he say about this case? Does he speak about it? What does he believe happened? Is he open to it?
I don't know if he's alive, but back that time he in the news, in the video, in the program, he said he doesn't know what it was.
Okay.
He said, "Well, I cannot tell you what it was because it's very small, but it's very fast."
Yeah.
And got too close to the airplane.
It almost appears as it goes under it. Yeah, it almost appears as the object goes right under the plane and up the other side.
Yes.
It doesn't look like it clipped the wing.
No, the G force, of course, the G force,
right?
And probably it caused the crash, but it doesn't matter. What matters is what was that thing, the probe, that sphere. We don't know. 30 years from that, in 1996, we still don't know.
Fascinating. Yeah, that's an enigma for sure.
No more questions on that case? Any other questions or comments on that particular case? Is this still an active investigation? I mean, obviously it's not been solved.
No, the case was closed. The case was closed because Air Force just said, well, it's a manufacturing problem. So
don't pay any attention to that, even though it's super compelling.
No, you cannot open it because all the reports, all the conclusion of the accident was being published. There's no problem with that, but they never mentioned that sphere. And 30 years after that, we cannot find any of the witnesses. We cannot find the pilot. We cannot find the responsible for the smoke squadron. So
yeah,
it's a mystery. It's a mystery.
Was the video taken by? It looked like it was, at the same level. Was it taken from another airplane?
No, it was taken from a person in a beach.
Oh, really?
Beach. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
On a beach. Was one of the witnesses on the beach.
A civilian person took it.
Yes, a civilian.
Yeah, it wasn't formal footage. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right,
Yeah,
we got to remember back in those days too, where we had different types of cameras. Everybody didn't have a cell phone on their hand. Just for,
Good
wow.
point.
Huge cameras.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that is an unbelievable case. Let's go ahead and move to the now. If
Papuda.
Papuda case. Papuda case.
Yes, Papuda. Papuda case is a prison, federal prison here in Brasilia. And 1991, UFO just appeared over the prison. So more than 20. It's not a real photo. It's illustration, but the UFO was just like that. And more than 20 military police that they made the guard of the prison. They saw it, and this object just stayed for almost 2 hours. Over the prison, and the prison is a high security area. And we're talking as well in 1991. There was no drone, and the military, the guards of the prison thought they're going some prison trying to escape should be a helicopter, but it was not. So they called to the air traffic control in Brasilia, the military air traffic control, and they was detecting the UFO on the radar screen. But they said, well, it's not a plane, it's not a helicopter, it's something that appear here and then disappear, and now it's over the prison. And for almost 2 hours, we don't have cell phones, we don't have camera because they were in prison. So they are not allowed to use that huge cameras, and we don't have cell phones or a small camera. And for 2 hours, more than 20 military policemen saw it. Wow. And they said, well, it's like a rectangular shape, and that was very bright, a yellow bright, and just hovered the prison. And then after 2 hours, everybody was watching it, just move very slow to the mountains and disappear. And in that one, we had a report from the military air traffic control where they confirm that they got a call from the chief of the prison, and they confirmed that they detected the UFO in the area, in the radar, and then disappear. The radar disappear. But they did not investigate it, or they didn't tell us that they investigated. I think that's the high probability that happened. And this case was very, very known in Brasilia. Some senators just wanted to know more about it, but also this 1991. Nothing happened. Just a official report that was leaked many years ago. This report was leaked, and then once it's leaked, they just released it to the public. But we had no evidence that it was an airplane or a helicopter.
Well, yeah, not if it's hovering for 2 hours. That's probably the most significant, fact of that case is sitting there for that period of time. I mean, obviously, nothing we know can really do that.
Sorry, Shane. One of the explanation they told us could be a balloon, a scientific balloon from the University of Brasilia. But the ufologists back at the time, they got in touch with the University of Brasilia, and they said, no, we didn't launch any balloon, no balloon in that day or that week. So
Yep.
Right.
And rectangular balloons aren't very common.
No, right.
I imagine,
No.
right?
It's
And also
not
that are
very
lit up.
aerodynamic. No,
Yeah.
not very aerodynamic unless maybe a blimp. But so were there any prisoners missing?
No.
No. No, this actually is a phenomena I've heard about here in the States. Have you heard that too, Shane?
Yeah.
UFOs over our prisons?
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps there's some extraterrestrials that are like, let's check out, what this is all about. Why are they putting people in cages? I mean, I don't know. Like,
We had in Brazil back in the 80s, one of the biggest prisoners in Brazil. He was a helicopter just almost landed in the middle of the prison. And got him, and he escaped it. So it was 1984, 1985. So that happened in 1991. They probably thought, well, it's going to happen again.
Well, I was going to say, for that whole 2 hours it's sitting there, did it do anything? I mean, Katie was alluding to that. Did it interact in any way, or was it just like a big night light over the prison?
Yes, just in the soldier, the guards, just watching it.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
So
I wish we
bizarre.
knew what they were doing. That's just so curious, right?
That is so curious. I want to see a movie like Escape from Alcatraz with this helicopter escape. That's a great. I mean, if you're going to escape in style.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Wow. So, I mean, obviously, this case, like you said, it's a very popular case. So you have witnesses that have come forward on that. Fascinating stuff. I'm going to put it out there in the universe, in the ethers. Somebody, I don't care who it is, they need to take this project on to really investigate UFOs over our prisons worldwide and see if it's a thing. Because I think it possibly is. Yeah. There's a project for somebody out there listening.
Yeah, a book. Research for a book, right?
There you go. Somebody publish this book for me, please. I quickly just did the search on it because I thought in my mind there was something like that, but I couldn't find it. So that, please let us know. Another fascinating case. All right. What's our next case here?
I think we have Morenão case. It happened in 1982. Morenão case. Morenão is a soccer stadium, and that day was playing Vasco da Gama and Operário. Vasco da Gama is a soccer team from Rio de Janeiro, and Operário is a team from Mato Grosso do Sul state. And Morenão is in Campo Grande, Mato Grosso do Sul state, and suddenly a UFO just passed very slow over the stadium.
Wow.
The game stopped.
Wow.
More than 30,000 people that was watching the game, including the players, the referees, the reporters in a field. They saw this UFO.
Wow.
And this just hovered just passed away very, very slow. But non-camera got it. I don't know why. I don't know why. We had no camera because the game was being broadcasting to all Brazil. It was a Brazilian soccer championship. And more than 30,000 people saw it.
Wow.
And there was an investigation of the Brazilian Air Force, and there's no conclusion. They got many testimonies. We have players that got very famous after years after that, playing in European clubs, that they remember still today that I was playing and I stopped it. The crowd was making noise, and suddenly that silence. And everybody was looking up, and they saw this UFO just cross very slow and then disappear. Wow. And we had a case very similar in Italy, in Florence, in Italy, in 90, I don't know if it's 30s or 50s, we had this same is not same, a very similar case.
Mm-hmm.
But in Italy, the UFO just left the angel hair, that filament that came from the UFOs. In Brazil, we don't have it, but in Italy, we had.
Yeah, and you said this was disc shape? Did you say it was disc?
It's like a cylinder. It's like a cylinder.
Okay, a cylinder
with
shape.
Lights, cylinder shape with lights in a bottom, and the front in the back.
Okay.
And it was not an airplane. It's not a Zeppelin. It's not a Zeppelin as well.
Mm-hmm.
No. Was this in the day or the evening game?
It was at night.
At night.
Yes, at the evening.
What does this remind you of, Shane? This reminds me of another big sighting there in Phoenix.
The Phoenix Lights, right?
Lights, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it was an intentional effort to show itself to people. But I find that curious. No one got photos or even the television or whatever, but maybe it's a case of, astonishment. A lot of people report that when they see something, they might even be holding a camera and they just don't think to put it up and do it because they're so astonished, or maybe there's some influence for it. But I find that really unusual because of the fact that you have 30,000 people, but it just adds to the mystery of the whole topic.
Didn't that happen
if it was today, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a lot of videos and photos because we have, you have cell phones.
Yes,
but
true.
Back that day, 1980, 1982, 1985, I usually go to soccer stadium when I was 10 years old, but we never got a camera, Polaroid, nothing like that. It's very expensive. Yeah. So we just go to watch the game.
Right. One of our listeners there had a good point. The reporters, it was towards the end of the game. They're packed up. They're ready to head out. I mean, same in Phoenix, I think, too, right? I mean, it was seen over stadiums. And again, no photographs.
Yeah.
Could whatever craft these are, could they be shutting down the ability to do that? I mean, like everybody's in a trance. Nobody get your stuff. I mean, it makes me wonder because that happened in Phoenix as well.
Yeah.
But in Phoenix was a V shape, right?
Yeah,
a triangle, a V shape. Yeah. And this case was amazing, and we never got a conclusion. We had an investigation, but we never got a conclusion. Just let it go, and let it go.
Right.
Wow.
That brings me to another question for you. I mean, I know, you have access to the reports there. You take and investigate many of these reports yourself. What shapes are more common there in Brazil as far as shape of craft? And do you get the triangular shape craft there as well?
The most common is the lights. But when we see the lights, we cannot, if they are very bright, we cannot see inner it.
Yeah.
So it could be a triangle, a disc, something like that. But the most shape is light, just lights.
Lights.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of the sighting here. But today, in my opinion, we have many things in the skies. Now we have drones, satellites, airplane, helicopters, birds, comets. We have a new brand of secret airplanes that to be considered a UFO is, it's very hard because you have so many options to choose. That when you say it's a UFO, it doesn't mean that it's a extraterrestrial ship. It's something that you cannot identify. Maybe in the future or during the investigation, you can identify as a atmospheric balloon or a airplane or a drone, something like that. And today's our job, our work is getting very, very harder.
Yeah, it is harder and harder, and you can't depend on the visual image anymore. You have to take into consideration its performance or its behavior to help identify or
movement.
eliminate. Yeah, exactly. To be able to distinguish it from something common and prosaic.
It's
So
very,
true.
very difficult. It's very difficult. And I received a lot of films and photos. And when I say, "Oh, it's a bird, it's a bug," people get angry. All right, because they want to believe that picture in the X-Files. I want to believe is that. No, don't want to believe. Want to discover, not to believe.
Yeah.
We have that same issue here too. Right. So do you often get cases of hoaxers?
We have a lot. We have a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Including ufologists. We have a lot.
Really?
Ufologists here in Brazil that they prefer to have subscribers. They prefer to have likes. They have to prefer views than give a right information or the honest information. We do have a lot of here in Brazil. And we have YouTube channels with thousands and thousands of subscribers and thousands of views. But when you watch one of the videos, you see, well, he's lying. He's making it up. He's making it up. But, I prefer to keep my YouTube small YouTube channel, but bring it real information. And as I said, when I say, "Oh, it's a bug," people get angry. But okay, you asked me to analyze. I did.
Yeah.
So it's a bug.
Can you tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and some of the amazing people you've interviewed through the years, and maybe speak to some of your favorites and what you've taken away from those experiences?
I cannot choose one of my favorites,
You had a long list. In his bio is a whole long list of people. I was like, oh. So if you could just pick a few. You don't have to call them favorites, just memorable interviews.
Okay.
There you go. Very diplomatic.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Desvendando Mistérios. It's like solving mysteries in English. I have almost 8,000 subscribers.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I interview a lot of good researchers. I can tell that I one of the best, in my opinion, was Kevin Randall, because I'm a huge fan of Kevin Randall and Don Schmidt. I love them, the work of them. And I had the opportunity to interview Jacques Vallée, that for me is one of the best. Preston Dennett was with me. Bruce Maccabee. I had an interview, Bruce Maccabee. Our boss, David McDonald, of course.
Oh,
David, our boss,
He was our first guest. We had the big boss on for number one guest on the show.
Very smart.
I had Peter Robbins as well. I had Travis Walton, not just for my show, but I was with him in another show. And the most amazing is when you know these people, not in person because it was online interview, but you can understand a little more about that research or his experience in the case of Travis Walton. And you are talking with that person that you had the book, that you have the book, that you, when you was a teenager, in the case of Jacques Vallée, I read his books. And I think, whoa, now I'm talking to Jacques Vallée.
Yeah.
So it's a very incredible experience that you have. And also, I cannot forget Stephen Hodges. This is my boss, really about my international director.
International boss. Shout out to Steve if you're watching. Hey, Steve.
And I interviewed more than, I think, 40 UFO researchers. And I just started the third season season of my interviews that I have Robert Salas, I have some of Brazilian ufologists, and I think it's important to bring this opinion because my channel is the only one that bring this interviews in with the not Brazilian ufologists. Because I interview in English and then I put subtitles in Portuguese so I can share it in English or Portuguese and bring the information that the audience in Brazil never get it.
Yeah.
Where are they going to have the opportunity to listen what Kevin Handel has to say?
Right.
Or Preston Dennett or Michael Sala. They read the book or just read something in the internet. And now they have the opportunity to listen them from from a Brazilian web YouTube channel.
It's awesome.
And I have some goals to get some personality that I want to interview, like Bob Lazar. I wish someday.
We all want that one.
Yeah.
Let's meet
Bob
together.
Bigelow. We want Bob Bigelow.
Yeah.
Bob Bigelow as well.
Bob Bigelow.
Yeah.
And the person that make me my interest in ufology just grew since I was a teenager. So I think it's very fascinating when I get the opportunity to interview these people.
Yeah, I think that's really great that you can bring that to the people of Brazil and bring it closer, and it makes it more real and lifelike, and then you can connect with the people, even though, like we're doing today, it's over the internet. You still feel like you know these people and get acquainted with them, and that makes a connection that makes the whole experience better. So I really commend you for that. That's a fascinating way to do it. Do you also have the opportunity to, depending on the guest, or do you ever translate into Portuguese or Spanish or French? And I know, like Jacques Vallée, obviously you could have done that in French. But are you able to do that as well?
I can speak in English and Spanish and Portuguese. I can speak.
Nice.
And I'm going to learn Italian because I get my Italian citizen soon. So I have to learn Italian. I cannot be Italian without speaking Italian. So I have to learn Italian. and I do all my interview in English or Spanish. In Spanish, in some cases, I have a friend that put subtitles, not translate, but subtitles. Mm-hmm. And in Spanish, it's easier here in Brazil to understand, much easier. But in English, I have to put subtitles in Portuguese. So when I put on air the interview, I put in my YouTube channel, and I say, well, the interview is in English, but subtitle in Portuguese, so I can. People from United States can listen, and people in Brazil can listen as well.
Right.
Wow.
It's nice, and that's something that people often, sorry, Shane, that's something people often sort of forget about, that we can translate both your website, because you have a wonderful website. I love the colors and the outlay.
And you two going to be in my YouTube channel, okay? You two going to be interviewed.
Yeah, and you can translate a lot of videos too to whatever language you need it to, and sometimes we often forget we have that ability. I think we have a screenshot. There's your website right there with the
this
URL.
This photo is very funny because I have almost 1,000 of UFO books.
Wow.
In Portuguese, in Spanish, in French. And what else? I had it in Russian, but I never understand a word in Russian. And this picture, I was in the end of the last year, 2022, 2023. I went to New Zealand. My sister-in-law lives in New Zealand, and we traveled there to vacations. And she knows that I love ufology, and she take me to a old bookseller, and I got a lot of books.
Nice.
And everywhere I go, I try to find some bookstore. And I was in New York in April and May. I was in New York. Peter Robbins was not there. Shame on you, Peter. Shame on you.
Shame on you, Peter.
Bad Peter.
Yeah, bad Peter. And but he told me, go to that bookstore. And I went there and bought some books. Because
and of course you're traveling back, it makes your luggage heavy or your backpack's heavy.
I'm looking for some bookshops in Cincinnati. But I know that Mufon is gonna sell some books there. So
yeah,
I tried to get some, and I like the books. Of course, that I didn't read all the books. If I read 10%, 20%, it's too much.
Yeah.
But I use them to my research. Right. I use them to write my article, to write my books, to make a video to my YouTube channel. I think it's very important. And I like to grab the books.
Mm-hmm.
I have
like you.
Kindle.
And the smell of books.
Yeah.
And I just bought 2 books that arrived yesterday. Extraterrestrial Contact by Kathleen Marden. This
Great one.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And this one from Preston Dennett, UFOs over Nevada.
I love Preston. Yeah, awesome. Yes. He has so many great books.
I like to have this book in my hands because I have to write it. I have to mark
you can
the
highlight.
page. Yes, that's part. And my wife, more books.
Oh, okay. If I could turn my camera around, I'm the same way. I totally get you. An audio book is nice on occasion. You know, you're driving in the car, but there's nothing that beats highlighting and tagging. And I'm also like you, where I read all the chapter titles. I kind of just skim because there's so many thousands of books, and the library grows and grows and grows. And just like David Marler too, it's like, you have to narrow your scope. Otherwise, the whole house will be, you would be able to walk through the piles of books. So make sure you leave that extra space for those books you're going to get there at the symposium. But we're like, 15 minutes to the end of the show. This time flew by. And I think we had one more case we needed to get to, which is Sonda. Am I saying that one correctly?
Yes, it's a probe. Sonda is probe in Portuguese.
Okay, probe. The probe case.
Yes, and it was very interesting because it's happened in 2001. TV crew was back into Brasilia after a job in Goiânia, is a city in Goiás state, and was passing by a highway, and they saw it's not a UFO. The first time for the first vision was not a UFO. They saw a big ball of light just over the highway. And then this ball of light just stopped hovering aside the highway, and they stopped it. And they were the TV crew. And the cameraman just got a professional camera and start to film it because the object start to move it over the highway, and they noticed that many drivers stopped it as well, and people from the houses nearby the highway just went out of the houses to watch it.
Wow! And so how long did the sighting last?
I think there was 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
The object was there. And again, it was in 2001. There's no satellites and airplanes and stuff like that, and drones. There's no drones back that time.
Wow!
And they start to interview. The reporter start to interview people. They was there. They stopped the drive. They stopped to watch the UFO. The people that went out of their houses to watch it. And in a part of the film, it's not that one that I sent to you. the original film, the full film, you can hear the reporter calling the air traffic center command. I'm seeing a UFO here in the highway. Are you seeing something in a radar? No, what do you mean no? He's here. We are filming it.
Wow.
and we investigated this case. We got this film. We traveled to São Paulo to show the film to a specialist to try to understand it. Well, it could be a kite with a candle hanging it. Could be a kite with a light, some kind of lantern, something like that. And the specialist said, no, it's not a kite. It's impossible because it was raining. It was very, very strong wind, but the UFO just stopped it and moved it against the wind. Just like intelligent, controlled intelligence. And we trying to duplicate it. We got, we bought a kite, and we tried to put it in a raining day, wind day. We trying to duplicate that. It was impossible.
Yeah.
Because the kite just went down because the rain just the kite was wet, so could not fly. And we didn't get investigation from the Brazilian Air Force, but our investigation, we cannot duplicate what the people saw. And it's
We have a video clip, don't we, of that?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
let's run that, and then we can discuss
see in
too
the video the UFO with sparkles, just sparkling, just sparkling. You can see it.
All right, Chanel, let's run that.
You can see just like sparks, something like just trying to rip it off the ball, and the camera was in a tripod. When you see that the UFO just disappeared because it was very fast. It's not the camera was not in the shoulder of the cameraman. It was in a tripod.
Wow.
And when he lost the UFO because the UFO just accelerate and disappear and then come back.
This is a case where the witnesses are so important. I mean, that you had a film crew there with a
professional
cameraman there to film that. I mean, not to make light, but every now and again I thought it's like giving the thumbs up or giving the hang loose, because it's like morphine. It's just and you said they got to see it exit.
Yes, just disappear, just fade away and disappear. And the camera, he never saw the UFO from his naked eye. He didn't take out his eye from the camera. He stayed for 10 minutes because, when we say UFO, we got our cell phone and okay, where is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have a good films of UFOs. We try to see from our eyes. And the camera, you can just put the camera in a tripod. The cameraman look at focusing the UFO. And then when we lost it, because the UFO was very fast.
Wow.
And this case it's amazing because they got more than 20 witnesses of the UFO. It was as I said, it was a rainy day, very windy. So it's not a kite. It's not a balloon. It's impossible to be a balloon. We try it.
And was this at a pretty low elevation? Because it's dark, so you really don't have a perspective on the elevation of that footage.
It's not too high. It's not too high. I think back then it was 200 meters, at least 200 meters, because you could see if you get the whole film, you can see the lights of the highway. You can see the cars, the lights of the cars, and you can see the UFO up there.
Wow!
And when they stop it, they put it in the tripod and start to film. And while they're filming, the reporter was asking people, calling the traffic center command. So there's no explanation for that.
That's wild. I can honestly say I don't think I've seen anything like that. What it reminded me of what you were mentioning, Katie, was like if you ever seen the sun images of the sun when it's casting off these I forget sun flares, mass coronal ejections. Kind of had that look and feel to it, or like it was spinning and the plasma was trying to escape, get thrown off, but it got sucked back. That's highly unusual. But kudos to the camera guy. I mean, my first question was, if that was on a tripod, the movements that we saw, it moved in virtually every direction. So if it was windy, it was no balloon because it was going against the wind, going vertical, horizontal, going down. I mean, that was really quite an interesting, and it was long enough where you could really make some observation. I'm surprised I'm not aware of that case. That was awesome.
Because you are too young. In 2001, you were too young. And we went the next day, before we go to São Paulo to analyze the video. The next day, we went to the same place in the daylight to see. Well, let's see if the electrical tower, if there's a house in a mountain that has a light, something like that. We try to explain that thing, but we couldn't. It's it's something that we never expected.
Right. Is that an area where you get? Yeah. Is that an area where you get a lot of sightings in that particular?
It was. It's a city called Samambaia.
Okay.
Back since 1995, 2002, 2003, It was a very remote area, but now it's full of people. People. But at that time we had 10 I researched 10 or 12 cases in that area.
Wow, that's a lot. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. So as per usual, the clock seems to go fast when we are discussing our favorite topics. Darn it all. But for those of you lucky enough to get out to Cincinnati to the MUFON Symposium, I hope you go up and introduce yourself to this amazing researcher. It's been such a pleasure and an honor to have you on our show tonight. And please check out his book and his website. Again, you can get that, UFO Contacts in Brazil. And you just said it's chocked full of photographs. How many pages is this again?
550 pages.
Wow.
I mean, everybody must own this book. I know I'm going to order it as soon as I get off of here.
Same here. I am
like, gosh darn it. Another book for my collection. But I want to thank you so much for being our guest tonight. And I hope you have a safe journey to the States. And enjoy your time at the symposium. I'm so bummed I won't be able to meet you in person, but sometime that'll happen, I'm sure. So have a wonderful journey and a wonderful time. Thank you, Shane. Tara, we missed you, and we hope that you're having a wonderful vacation. And of course, our best to Bill Skywatcher, our producer. We wish you a speedy recovery, and we want you back 100% ASAP. Stay out of that pool. Well, you could be in the pool, but stop trimming those tree branches in the backyard. Take it easy a little bit. We think we could do things we could do when we're, 18, 20 years old, and not so much. Anyway, and thank you, Chanel, for your wonderful work and co-producing this as well. So again, thank you to all our listeners, and we will be back with you next Tuesday night live. And until then, I hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your week. And thank you guys for being here. And don't forget to report your sightings to MUFON, and please check out kgradb.com as well. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Thiago, for being here. And until next time, good night, everybody.
Thanks. See you guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
See you.